Great Smoky Mountains National Park is the most visited national park in the country. While most people who visit have no issues during their trip, for some, the national park becomes a death trap. One of the most deadly places in the entire park is the Sinks. The Sinks is one of the most familiar waterfall recreation areas in the park. As the little river begins to constrict, a 20 feet high, cascading waterfall throws rushing water over and under rocks until it falls into a large pool below, which happens to be a favorite place for swimmers. The first tragedy to occur at the Sinks since the national park had been established was on October 6, 1950, when a newlywed couple was visiting the park on their honeymoon. George and Alice Mekon were enjoying another relaxing day when George happened to step too close to the rushing water at the Sinks to take a picture. Unfortunately, George couldn't swim, and he was instantly swept away in the river current. His wife Alice, a strong swimmer, dove in after him, and at one point had successfully brought him to the shore, but was unable to lift him out of the water. That's when he was once again swept away down the river. This time, however, George drowned, and the Sinks took its first victim since 1934. There would be 10 other drowning victims at the Sinks over the years, leading to the Sinks being known as one of the deadliest spots in the entire park. Drowning would also become the third leading cause of death in the park, behind car and plane crashes. The Sinks were not and are not the only location where victims have been taken by a current. In fact, from 1931 to 2013, there were 59 drownings in the park. Many of these unfortunate souls never even intended to get in the water. They simply got too close. The national park is an ecosystem rife with the potential for rushing water and flash flooding due to the unpredictable rainfall and steep terrain throughout. The park receives an annual rainfall of 85 inches, which makes it a temperate rainforest, with 2,100 miles of waterways available to drain the region. At the time the Sinks took its first victim, there had already been 12 other drownings in which the individual lost their life alone in the waterways of the park. The first recorded drowning occurred on July 8, 1934, when a member of the Cherokee Nation had been found drowned at a swimming hole on the Oconaluftee River. The Oconaluftee has taken the lives of 6 people over the years. On August 5, 1938, a storm would cause 8 people, 4 of them children, to lose their lives in the water. August 5th happened to be Election Day, and the Ball family was on their way home from voting when a storm approached. They took shelter from the storm in their home, which sat along Webb Creek. That night, the Smokies received over 12 inches of rainfall in about 4 hours' time. According to TVA records, Webb Creek was sending 6,600 cubic feet of water per second downstream. For some perspective, the Ocoee River, former site of the Olympic whitewater events, recorded a mere 1,300 cubic feet of water per second of flow. The Ball family was most likely unaware that a 15-foot high wall of water was headed directly for their house, and when it hit, it ripped the house from its foundation and carried it downstream, killing everyone inside. They say that bodies were found 7 miles downstream. This unfortunate theme of walls of water blindly rushing down mountains has happened plenty of times. Another beautiful spot that tragedy often strikes is on the Abrams Falls Trail. Known as one of the most dangerous hikes in America, Abrams Falls has claimed 7 lives over the years, making it the second deadliest location in the park for drowning. Most of the untimely fates that these people suffer happen due to the wet and slippery moss-covered rocks that loom 20 feet above the pool below. One wrong step and it's over. The Townsend Y, a popular destination for swimmers, kayakers, and tubers, is the third deadliest place for drownings in the park. It has taken 6 lives. It would be naive to think that even if you are more than prepared, that you won't get hurt. The story of a man scuba diving in the Y proves that anything can go wrong at any time. His drowning was caused by a wound to his head thought to have occurred when he jumped in the water. No matter what sport you are enjoying, you always have to be aware of the dangers. Something so simple as tubing can end very badly. Over the years, there have been 5 tubers lose their lives in the park's waterways. One of the most common ways a swimmer or a tuber can get into trouble is by getting their feet trapped. Once they are trapped, if they panic, they can get into a life-threatening situation quickly. According to the CDC, rivers and lakes account for over half of all drowning deaths in America annually. In the national park, between 1931 and 2016, there were 60 drownings in total. Most of these could have been avoided if a little more calculation of risk had been involved.